Now, Abhishek is somebody who was part of one of the first batches of UPSC Essential in 2023, and he has secured AIR 102 this year. You will sooner or later hit a brick wall. Most of the times it is this: I am happy, I am healthy, I am well fed, and yet I am not in the mood to study. So this is why your why needs to be clear, because there will be a lot of reasons for you to give up on this journey. Right.
Consistency के लिए you need to focus on every day and make every day useful, and do PIQs very diligently for optional. 1 year should not be a goal. Your goal should be to understand the game.
And if you can guarantee that you will do that, I can guarantee that you will find success in Civil Services Exam. This is the introductory session for the UPSC Essential course, be it 2027 or 28. I'll be giving you a brief overview of what the course is all about. But before that, obviously, we have with us Abhishek Chauhan. Abhishek, please. So,
thank you for calling me, sir.
Bilkul. And Abhishek will be joining us for the session today. Thoda idhar aa jao. Right. And he'll be taking up your Q&A towards the end of the session. Now, Abhishek is somebody who was part of one of the first batches of UPSC Essential in 2023, and he has secured AIR 102 this year. So, Abhishek, what service are you expecting?
Expecting IPS, most probably.
Lovely. So, Abhishek, can you give us a brief about how many attempts that you gave? And
so I started my preparation towards the end of 2023, and I prepared solely for prelims. In 2024's attempt, I failed that prelims, but I started again, and then 2025 ke pure process mein I have been very lucky and industrious. So I think so. That's 2 attempts and IPS for now. So that's had been the journey.
Right. So I think there you have it. And Abhishek has a very interesting option, geology. So
if any advice for geology, I will be able to give you a very reliable advice. And yes, geology has been my option.
So what we'll do is I'll give you a brief about what the course is all about. And then towards the end of the session, I think I will take about 30 to 40 minutes. Then we'll have about 30 minutes with Abhishek. So any questions that you have, please put them in the Q&A section. Don't write them in the chat, because chat mein I'll be asking yes, no, something. So your questions will get lost. If you have specific questions that you want Abhishek to take up, put them in the Q&A. Now, first and foremost, I want you to keep in mind something, that at UPSCprep.com, what we don't particularly believe in is spoon feeding. Spoon feeding is a problem in civil services exam preparation, for the simple reason that if you are given everything that is required, you are not actually using your brain. And if you are not using your brain, no matter how much content you have marked up, no matter how many, sample questions you have seen, UPSC will ask something new, something different. Every year, prelims has some changes, mains has some more, variety. In such a case, we believe in the simple idea of, instead of giving you a fish, we like to teach you how to fish, so that as required, you can go and fish for yourself. Because when somebody is giving you everything pre-prepared, that also creates long-term fear, for the simple reason that I don't know how to do it myself. So therefore, the approach that we'll be following in this course will be to help you build some long-term confidence, even if, let's say, what you have been taught with regards to geography, modern history, economy, after a point, there will always be new current affairs. So you have current affairs classes also, but if I had to make sense of some current affairs before the class happens, you are capable of doing that by yourself. Now, how many of you have read the official notification? You want to become civil servants, you want to become IAS officers. How many of you have read the notification? This is for 2026, the notification that was out. So this is the first order of business. Because you are committing, when you're preparing for civil services exam, you are committing to read 5,000 plus pages of every given subject: history, polity, geography, economy, environment, every subject apart from optional. This is just general studies. 5,000 plus pages you will be reading, and much of this multiple times, right? Includes the NCRTs, includes all your reference books, all of that multiple times. So therefore, it is also your job that the official notification is roughly about 35 pages. I want you to go and read it. Ispe don't be, I'll see. All that you have to go is go to the official UPSC website. Here, you'll go into examinations, active examinations. Active examinations when we'll come. So here you'll see Civil Services Exam Preliminary 2026. Right. So there is this notice. You open up this notice, you'll see it's 159 pages. I said 35. How is this 159? So this is where you'll realize that only the first 30, 35 some pages are what deal with the matter of the exam. After that, it starts the syllabus of each and every optional. Right. This is GS3 ka syllabus, GS4 ka syllabus. After that, after page number 37, each and every optional ka detailed syllabus is given over here. So naturally, what you want to do is read the first 35 pages and then read thoroughly your syllabus ka optional. This is non-negotiable because, again, keep in mind, you are committing to doing this. Doing this 35 pages is something that will set you up for a lot of clarity down the line. You will not be asking questions like, how many attempts do I have? What is my age limit? This, that. All of these things will already be made clear in the first couple of pages itself. Right. Now, before we go any further, I want to know how many of you are clear about why you want to become civil servants. So, good. Rajveer is making the point ki, not very clear, but seems like a prestigious job. Good. So, why is it so important that we need to know why I want to do something? Because what I want to do is absolutely clear, right? I want to be IAS or IFS or IPS or any one of the group A services. This is the what, right? How are you going to do this? CSE, Civil Services Exam. I'm going to clear the Civil Services Exam, and for that I'm taking classes, right? So all of that is the what and the how. Now, you should know your why for the very simple reason that this is something that you'll keep coming back to constantly. And it's not for me. I don't care what your why is. You are here. We are part of this course. I will do my level best to make sure that you cross the barriers that come along your way. But at the same time, there will also be some psychological barriers, some mental barriers that you will face. You will sooner or later hit a brick wall. And each and every one of you will hit a different brick wall. Sometimes, if it's related to subjects, we are here to help you. But sometimes it will be ki, I just don't feel like studying. That is also a brick wall. How many of you have at one point or the other in the last 6 months felt, I don't feel like studying today? Correct? Almost everybody. So this is where you have to have this sort of a mindset. You do not let a brick wall stop you. You find a way either to get over it, you get a ladder, you figure something out, or you find the energy to break the wall. Or, you can attain enlightenment and say that there was no wall to begin with in the first place. Right. But if you're doing that, naturally, also giving up on civil services exam, civil services is either of these two things. Now, there is going to be a wall that is coming. You have to figure out how to get over that wall, because that wall will sometimes look like this, that I don't feel like studying today, and yet I have to sit and study. Sometimes the wall will look like I have not scored good marks in mocks. You will score 30 marks out of 200. Do you think this will be, you'll feel sad after scoring this marks? Yes or no? I would be. I had scored, about 30 marks out of 150. I was giving mains that year. That was the score that I had gotten in sociology. I was shocked. I did not want to continue because this was abysmal. And here I was supposed to be, giving mains and everything. This is where the idea of a growth mindset comes in. And this is the thing that I want you to cultivate. You cannot just stop here. Your job is to keep challenging yourself. Next time, I don't care. I don't want to score 100. I just want to score more than this. This is what I want you to keep in mind. If you score good marks, if you score bad marks, that is not the end of the journey. I want to improve on this. Next test may the only thing that I have to do, even if you score 31, you have done well. You score 35, you have done well. You score 80, you have done really well. right? Every successive test, I just want you to focus on scoring slightly more than you did last time. And if you can guarantee that you will do that, I can guarantee that you will find success in civil services exam. But this is hard because facing that score and then coming back, this is facing your ego. So ये जो roadblocks आएंगे, you have to be able to deal with them. Now, there is an inverse roadblock also, something called burnout. Right, so burnout is the feeling where like you just don't feel like doing anything because you're overtired, you're constantly anxious, and you're just mood is something separate. Burnout is an extreme version of it. Burnout is when I'm not getting enough sleep for an extended period of time. Burnout is when I'm like putting in a lot of effort but I'm not getting any output, so therefore there is a lot of stress and anxiety and all of that is bottled up. If you're facing burnout, take a break. But again, please keep in mind, burnout is an extreme case. Most of the times it is this: I am happy, I am healthy, I am well fed, and yet I am not in the mood to study. That is something we have to find a solution to. Now, how many of you do this, dreaming that, I'll travel in this sort of a car, I'll become an IAS? How many of you have had these daydreams? It's good. See, having these dreams is good. Why? Because it is reminding you of your goal, and it is reminding you of the fact that there are very few people that get this. So therefore, if I have to get here, I have to work hard. Yet, at the same time, there are some people who are like, nee, we will just solve the exam, this, that, XYZ. If you're not dreaming at all, so then it is difficult to stay motivated. For those of you that are here for 2027 attempt or 2028 attempt, you are going to be in this journey for a while. 27 attempt may, let's say you clear in your first attempt itself. Next 2 years away, that result is, right? We are in March of 26. If you're giving 27 ka attempt, your prelims will be in May of 27. The result for that will come out in March of 28. If you're giving any further attempt, it goes 1 year further. For 2 years, you have to sustain. So therefore, you have to keep yourself motivated. Sometimes, dreaming does help. But that does not mean I am not doing. If you don't follow up on that dream, nothing is going to come of it. Because the reality of civil services exam is this. At first, everything will seem interesting. In the foundation phase, while we cover the NCRTs, everything will seem interesting, right? Geography will make a lot of sense. Polity will make a lot of sense because we're just starting with these subjects. But then we'll repeat those subjects, we'll go slightly deeper, second phase mein, we'll go further deeper, third phase mein, and then we'll keep repeating those same subjects in the revision phase, in the test phase. By the time the exam comes, you will have done each subject maybe 5 times. If you've just followed the course, easily 5 times you will have done each subject. How many of you think you will get bored by the 5th time? Yes or no? So those that are saying no, very good. I like your bravery. But practically speaking, this is exactly what is going to happen. You have to figure out how to make this interesting. So therefore, we'll have classes, we'll have different kinds of tests, daily practice questions. All of these things are built into this course. The idea is we will do our level best to make it as interesting as possible. But at the same time, this is something inherently boring. Nobody likes reading the same book for the 5th time. Nobody. There are very, very few people who do that. Right? But this is going to be boring. You have to motivate yourself. Second, it will need more time than you think. Right now, you might be thinking, okay, I'll study 7-8 hours right now and then like everything will do good, hunky dory. But those 7-8 hours need to be consistently put in for the next 2 years at the very least. That is if you're clearing in your first attempt. Now, the probability of clearing in your first attempt is about 5%. Like Abhishek se we heard, he cleared in his second attempt. So the further down you go, second attempt में clear करने का 20-25%, 15% third attempt. So second, third attempt is your generally, golden spot. Because first attempt में very few people clear, but second and third attempts, those are the attempts where most people who have seriously prepared, who put in the effort, they have a chance of clearing. Right? So then, even if you think nobody wants to give more than 1 attempt, anybody here who wants to give all 6 attempts? Very good. Which means all of you are rational, all of you are sane. Nobody in their right mind thinks about giving all 6 attempts. But that is what happens, right? Ki maybe let's say you missed the mains cutoff by 1 mark. Would you give one more attempt? ठीक है, तो first attempt में you made it past prelims. First mains given, but mains failed by 1. Okay, you're giving second attempt. So second में you PT failed by 5. Are you giving the third attempt? Yes or no? Third attempt mein, it just so happens that somewhere or the other some paper got messed up. You missed by 15 marks this time. Are you giving another attempt? Are you giving the fourth attempt now? Right, so chat is not happening with everybody. I am seeing the chat responses, because if it is with everybody, so therefore it gets disturbing. So see, that is what happens. Nobody plans on giving all 6 attempts, but sooner or later I missed by 1 mark, 2 mark. Let's say you got a service. You did not get IS or IPS. Will you give another attempt? So yahi karte karte 3, 4, 5 attempts have gone down, and that is the idea that I want to convey over here, that nobody wants to give all 6 attempts, but one thing leads to another, and 2 to 3 attempts is a very good space over here. If after 3 attempts you have not made any progress in this exam, it is a good time to seriously think about plan B. Okay, what do I do over here? But if you've made some progress in the exam, so therefore you keep investing, more and more things happen. Third, you will fail a lot, not just in the actual exam, but also in mock tests. Mentor se डांट सुनने को मिलेगी. Sometimes मैं डांट मारूंगा कि भाई you were supposed to do these things, but you have not done. Like, what is happening? Why are you not doing it? Your parents might scold you a bit. Your friends will move on without you. They'll be doing jobs. They'll be traveling, and you will be at home by yourself. So that will feel like failure quite a bit, quite often. And this is something that you have to learn to deal with, right? Because if you cannot, sooner or later you will find excuses for, this is just not for me. Which brings us back to, why did we begin in the first place? So this is why your why needs to be clear, because there will be a lot of reasons for you to give up on this journey. Bad marks, friends are chilling, parents are asking, what are you doing? I failed prelims once, twice, something has happened. But if I'm clear, this is why I want to do this, you'll stick around and you'll find success. Right. Now, one of the biggest problems that people face when they're preparing for civil services, how many of you have had this situation happen with you, that you were studying for a particular subject and you were turning pages? The book, the chapter got done, the book got done, but nothing went into your head. Has that happened? Yes or no? Last 6 months. If it doesn't happen, very good. But if it does happen, this is something that we'll have to actively address, right? If you are not understanding, then simply turning the pages is not enough. Now, this is not an exam which is in your school or anything. This is an exam which is real, which is competitive as hell. And in that same sense, you have to put in the effort. If you are not putting in the effort, you are not going to stand out, because it is what it is. You are competing with the best in the country. So therefore, understanding is what I want you to focus on. Right. Now, the other thing, if you are doing this in a haphazard manner, reading something today, something else tomorrow, and then hoping somehow I'll end up, that is not going to cut it. And for this reason, obviously what we have done, this is the notification and all. But you might have seen, how many of you have gone through the schedule of the course? For those of you that have not gone through the schedule, I want you to go through the schedule in depth. This is also 10 pages. Just have a look. Okay, how many classes of polity are there? Right? Polity ki kitni classes hain? Ancient medieval ki kitni classes hain? Just have a look at this sort of a thing. Because this schedule, we have put in a lot of effort. Like, for example, geography in the month of May will happen. I'll be teaching geography. And उसके बाद फिर हमारा बेसिक्स फेज स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. बेसिक्स फेज में क्या है? We have done the NCERTs in the next 2 to 3 months. And thereafter, we will start focusing a lot more on the reference books. We'll go deep dive. We'll start doing previous year questions over here. Previous year questions, best source of information for the exam. We'll start doing. We'll do some in the foundation phase, but here the classes are built around previous year questions also. Right. So that's the idea. You have to be organized. This is a part we're taking up for you. We will be giving you an organized schedule. You follow, you do the hard work, and we'll handle the planning aspect of it. Now, schedule pay, we've had a look. So now I want to talk about some prerequisites. Right. Prerequisites is the idea that there are some basic things that you need to do in order to find success. Number one, how many of you meditate in a day? 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. Yes or no? No. Large majority is no. There are some people that do. How many of you think civil services is an exam that requires mental stamina? It does, right? Correct. It requires that you use memory. It requires that you have mental stamina. If you have good memory, obviously you are at an advantage in this exam. Now, let us have a look at this. This is Science Direct, brain research mein. Brief daily meditation enhances attention, memory, mood, and emotional regulation. All of the things that you require in order to do well at civil services exam, this one thing, brief daily meditation, 10 minutes a day, is helping you improve attention, memory, mood. Did we not talk about mood just now? Attention and memory to separate hai, but basics. So there is a quote that I like to repeat very often, that this is a quote from Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest presidents that the Americans had, and emancipator, ended slavery, number of things. Now, Abraham Lincoln had a simple quote that if I have 8 hours to chop down a tree, I will spend 6 hours sharpening my axe. Sharpening your axe every day for 10 minutes is going to give you long-term benefits. So please do this. If you can do this, I assure you, you will notice the difference. The people who can do this for 6 months will notice that they are leaving a lot of people behind. As simple as that, 10 minutes a day. Now, number 2, how many of you are doing this? Let's say 30 minutes a day. How many of you are doing some or the other exercise? It can be gym, it can be going for a walk, it can be playing, it can be anything. If you're doing it more than 30 minutes, great. But if you are not doing this basic exercise, so again, there is a problem. Why? Because our brains are not developed for modern society. Our brains are hunter-gatherer brains. And therefore, I'll give you another study. Right? This is from Harvard Health. Regular exercises changes the brain to improve memory and thinking skills. Again, do you not need these things? I need memory. I need thinking skills. Memory is everywhere. The better memory I have, the easier it will be for me to do things. So therefore, 30 minutes of exercise, 10 minutes of meditation, if you do, you are sharpening your brain for an exam that requires a lot of brain. So please, if you can do these things, it will have compounding benefits for your preparation overall. Iske saath saath, naturally, there is a maintenance cycle. You eat on time, you sleep on time, you exercise, and you repeat. This is something that has to be maintained consistently. And in this, sunlight. So a lot of the times, this is something that goes missing because a lot of our times is spent indoors. So one thing that I can say is if you are feeling constantly tired and demotivated, please do get your vitamin D levels checked. Because this was something that happened with me also, that last year, I think in January, I was feeling very, very demotivated, tired, and then I got my vitamin D levels checked. They were very low. The moment I corrected that with doctor's advice, life became a little easier. So please do ensure that you're doing these basics. I have to put in effort for 2 years. If in those 2 years, I'm not getting the right food, I'm not getting enough sleep, so no matter how much studying I'm doing, I'm not going to make the most use of my time. Which brings us to the roadmap. So for Civil Services Exam 27-28, the roadmap will look something like this. Right, this is a very, very broad overview of the roadmap that I want to give, that you are here at day 0. So in the next couple of days, what we'll begin is like the next session that you have and the one after that, we'll start drilling down into what are the basics? How do you prepare for this exam? Today's session, we are just talking about the course and then some general things that I wanted to share with you. Then what will happen is between the next 3 months, from day 0 to day 100, what will have happened? You will have understood something about the exam. You will have understood कि अच्छा what are the patterns? Okay, prelims happens this way. Okay, what are the subjects? Okay, polity में क्या है, कैसे है? First 2 to 3 months, that will happen. By day 100, you will have a clear plan of action. कि okay, this is what happens. I have to prepare my subject this way, and then all that will remain is I keep executing it daily. 3 months after that, we will have reached the first stage where we start making some notes, right? So I don't want you to worry about making notes in the first 2-3 months. While we are doing the foundation phase, don't worry about making notes. Just read and underline the NCRTs. Just follow what is taught in class. Focus on those things. Don't worry about note making. Note making we will start, right? Second and third phase के बीच में we will start after June. Some note making, some answer writing, all of these things in time from June onwards we will start. The explicit focus on answer writing we will start from September onwards. Then from September to December, primarily we will be dealing with answer writing. Classes will be oriented around answer writing, everything answer writing. But over here, I don't worry about answer writing. I don't worry about current affairs. I don't worry about making notes. Here, I focus on getting introduced to the subjects, right? So 3 things. Number 1, don't worry about making notes. Number 2, don't worry about giving a lot of mock tests. You can give some NCRT tests, but tension nahi lena hai zyada. Third thing, do not rush through books. Focus on understanding. Focus on the basics. If you understand well in this phase, when we build on top of that in this phase, it will further make sense. When we build on top of that in mains phase, it will make more sense. Right. So this is the idea that we follow in this course, that in this course, you'll get live classes for all GS subjects as well as current affairs and recordings. The recordings of each class will be available to you within 6 to 10 hours. Generally it will be sooner. Like for example, this session, if it ends by 8:30, or like even if it ends sooner, by 12 p.m. or 12 midnight, you will already have the recording of this session on the portal. Sometimes it can take longer depending on if the class is longer and processing time and all that, but generally within 6 hours to 10 hours, you will have the recording. Recording access, current affairs classes, live access you have for 3 years. Unlimited mentorship you get in this. Unlimited का क्या मतलब है? Any time that you're facing an issue, any problem that you're having, book a mentor call, discuss. Your mentors are also your educators, so we'll meet them also. Now, critical thinking and writing. These are things that are absolutely essential for your mains preparation, and this is something that a lot of the time is ignored, because a lot of the institutes, what they'll do is they'll dump content on you. Just do this content, and all of that is fine, but I have to learn how to think also. So there will be special sessions on this and on how to start writing, how to improve writing. On top of that, you will also get some value addition notes. You will also get workbooks for CSAT and for answer writing. You will have a full test series for prelims and mains. We will have some sessions with other rankers who have been associated with us, from Essential, from Mains, who will be taking some sessions specially on, okay, how do you approach answer writing? How do you break this down? How do you do this? Right? All of this with the aim and intent to help you through. Now, इसमें the phases वाला approach क्यों काम करता है, and why do we use phases? What is the idea behind it? That whenever you think of knowledge comes in levels, right? At the base is remembering. If I don't remember something, can I use it? Yes or no? No, I cannot. Very clear, right? So remembering is the base layer. So I have to have some good memory. I need to remember a lot of facts. If I remember a lot of facts, then I can understand them. Okay, what does this actually mean? If I know what it means, I know some facts, I know what they mean. At the application layer, you can use those facts. Why am I talking about these things? Because prelims tests these 3 levels of knowledge. Mains tests these 3. Right? Prelims में क्या होगा? Prelims में sometimes they'll ask you direct facts. कि okay, like this place has this much time. How much time will this place has? These are the coordinates of this place. right? Or maybe who wrote this particular book? Direct fact-based questions. Sometimes there will be understanding-based questions. Understanding kaise? They will ask you, ki, okay, you know, government budgeting mein ABC things happen. If government bought this much, right? Chelsea, absolutely correct. This diagram is known as Bloom's taxonomy. If you want to refer to it later, this is the taxonomy of knowledge. I was not sharing the name for the simple reason that nobody is going to ask you this, but this is something that helps you understand that any given topic, I can go from here to here. This part is ignored for the exam. This is for research scholars and PhDs, right? I don't need to create new information. I just need to work with the information that I have, right? We'll take an example of this. Okay, when we are going with foundation, when we are doing NCRTs, absolute basics. So then a question that you would want to ask is, what is secularism? Right? Forget everything else. What exactly is secularism? How many of you know? Yes or no? So see, what I know is the general sense of secularism. But there is an Indian version of secularism. There is a Western version of secularism. What is the difference between those two? I don't know because I've not studied. So once I've understood what is secularism, in the second phase, when we are going one step deeper, I'm going to look at what are the exact provisions related to secularism within the Constitution of India. Right? So, जैसे this, a lot of people said yes. How many of you know this? What are the exact provisions? Which are the articles that deal with secularism in Indian Constitution? Yes or no? So some people are taking yes, 23 to 25, then 25. So that's the thing. On fundamental rights ke alawa bhi, there are multiple parts within the Constitution that deal with secularism. Right? So I have to go through all of them. So this is where, once I've understood what is secularism, I go slightly deeper. I now try and understand, okay, what are the different provisions? So that eventually I can answer this. This is an actual mains question. What can France learn from India's idea of secularism? For this, I need to know exactly what is secularism, what are the provisions for the secularism in Indian Constitution, and what are provisions for secularism in French Constitution. Once I have these three pieces of information, then and only then will I be able to answer what can France learn from India? Because if I don't know what is France doing, what is India doing, how can I say anything? Making sense? Why you need to go in phases? Yes or no? So that is the idea. Now, please keep in mind that at times, for example, a lot of people over here also, that Rajveer was there, Chelsea was there, they knew what was secularism, had some idea about constitution ka, articles also. Please don't be worried. We will be starting from the absolute basics. But at the same time, you should be clear that if you know something, okay, this is a strong area for me, this is a weak area for me, this sort of self-assessment, if you can do, even at the beginning, it's a good thing, right? There will be some subjects that you enjoy, some subjects that you don't. We will try our level best to make everything very interesting. But, sometimes it's just, I don't like math. How many of you over here don't like math? So there will be people who love math also. There will be people who will be indifferent to math. So that's the idea. If I'm clear on where I'm standing, I can move from there. If I love math, okay, I'm not worried about it. If I don't like math, I will still have to clear CSAT. So I need to do some bare minimum basics. These three phases overall for each and every GS subject will start from absolute fundamentals and will go up to the advanced level, right? So that is why we do things in phases. And now let me introduce you to your faculties and mentors. And please keep in mind your mentors and faculties are pretty much the same. So I'm over here, cleared civil services exam twice. I'll be teaching geography. Shashank sir, he's the mains expert. Once you clear prelims, so Shashank sir is the guy who makes the magic difference in answers. Krishna sir, he is helping with strategy and environment. And Ketan sir teaches Indian economy. Also ranker. Ketan sir ki Indian economy handbook, if you have not seen, it's a very good book for Indian economy, gets the basics sorted. Nimish sir, who was in the CISF before, cleared the CAPF exam, and he was AIR 6 in Punjab PCS. So he'll be teaching modern history. Neelam ma'am will be teaching polity. She was a polity faculty with Delhi University. Rohan sir, who has cleared multiple prelims, given UPSC interviews, will be teaching ancient medieval art and culture. Neetu ma'am will be teaching you, tips and tricks on how to score well in prelims. At the same time, she will be taking environment classes, right? Then Anil sir and Trisha ma'am will be teaching you CSAT between them. Trisha ma'am will be teaching you English. Anil sir will be teaching you math and logical reasoning. Ishan sir over here, again, UPSC interview given, will be teaching you science and tech. So this is your faculty, multiple ranks, multiple UPSC interviews. All of these people will be putting in their level best effort in order to make things interesting for you. तो उसके बाद एक ही चीज रह जाती है कि भाई अंत में क्या है, that there is your task also. They will do their task, they will do their job, but this is something that you have to give me. If you can promise that you'll give me hard work and consistency, I will promise that I will do my level best to get you across the line. How many of you can promise me this? Absolutely. So there are some couple of questions, right? Number one question, I think there is current affairs. Okay, when do I start current affairs? So current affairs ke liye for now, start reading the newspaper. Don't worry about making notes. Don't worry about understanding everything I need to understand XYZ. No, I want you to do one thing and one thing only with the newspaper. I want you to start indexing. Right? What is indexing? Indexing is the simple exercise that I look at a particular article and then I think to myself, okay, which subject is this related to? Is this related to polity? Is this related to economy? This is something that I want you to do every day for the next 3 months. Don't worry about notes. Don't worry about I have to do this, that, current affairs. For now, just focus on indexing. If for 3 months you can do this, I can guarantee you current affairs will start making a lot more sense. Okay, there is some news related to governor ka procedure XYZ. Which subject? Polity, governance, right? But sometimes it will be mixed. RBI has said ABC thing about how this will happen. So is this economy or is this still governance? Because still monetary policy, directly economy, but monetary policy ka impact, government is saying no, don't do this. So then mix and match wala jo cheeze hai, indexing will help you streamline and identify. And the most important thing that it will do is that you will actively read the newspaper. You won't just like flip pages over there. You will actively try to also think about the syllabus, because at times we forget how many subjects there are in the syllabus. At times we forget, okay, that is also something over there. So sometime maybe you read an article about there is a some artifact that is kept in the London Museum and it is being brought back to India. So then which subject is this? Who can tell me? Right? Good. This is international relations plus art and culture. So two things, international relations and art and culture. That is exactly what I want you to do. Which newspaper? Indian Express or The Hindu? If you can get these, great. If they are not available in your area, get the digital edition. If that is also not available in your area, don't worry. We will be doing current affairs classes. If there is some regional newspaper you want to read, sure, go ahead, do it. So far as this indexing exercise is concerned, any newspaper you read is good to go. Now, in using the course, there are a couple of things. Mentor calls will be made available to you in the next couple of days. On your course, you will start seeing mentor call, how to book a mentor call links. There are 3 times that I want you to specifically book a mentor call. Whenever you have given a test, I want you to book a mentor call, because just giving a test is not enough. Understanding where you made mistakes and how to improve on them, that is something that is required. Second, in case you have doubts, you did not understand something in class, so therefore, you'll be able to book a mentor call. We'll give you emails of each and every faculty. All these things will be made available to you, so that if you have doubts, you can directly reach out to the faculty and they will clarify. Third, whenever you hit a wall, this is not just in terms of studies. In case there are some personal issues that you're not able to solve and there are problems and issues, book a mentor call will help, right? So these are unlimited. Anytime that you want, you can book them. We'll discuss these things one-to-one with you. Now, second thing, answer writing. When should you start? NCRTs ke saath, even from day one, if you want, the questions given at the end of NCRT chapters, you can start writing them. But primarily, we will start focusing on answer writing once we have done some 3 to 6 months of preparation. From September onwards, we will be focusing exclusively on answer writing, right? Advanced phase mein, whenever your classes are going, so even in the classes, we'll be doing answer writing. After classes, you'll be given practice questions for further practice. But at times, there is also this question that a lot of people ask that how many of you have this question? How do I start answer writing? So I have something for you. So this is a very nice comic from owlturd.com. And the answer is simple. Take a piece of paper, take a pen, start writing. In time, you will learn what are the things that you're making a mistake with. But if you don't write, you will never learn what is it that you need to improve on. Right. So with that, I think we've come to the end of the session. Now, what we'll do is, and again, if there are any issues that you face, you're not able to log in, okay, sometimes technical issues are happening, class may, like some stutter is happening, your app is malfunctioning, any of those sorts of things, please reach out to us, contact@upscprep.com. If urgent resolution is needed, drop us a WhatsApp also. Contact, we generally will revert within 24 hours. WhatsApp, obviously, slightly faster. Right. So with that, I think what we'll do is we'll call Abhishek. Right. So we have Abhishek. Please, Ajo, we are live. Now, this is for you. I'll give you a blank slate and I'll give you the questions that people are asking so that we can take those up. What was your current affairs strategy? How did you deal with current affairs while you were preparing for civil services?
Okay, so during my first attempt, I think I gave too much emphasis on current affairs for prelims. But धीरे धीरे time के साथ you realize कि prelims is all about static competence और PYQ analysis. तो current affairs जो है,
तो just break down what is static and
static is the core subjects और जो उन चीज़ों में हम पढ़ते हैं that is not going to change. जो हमारी बुक्स में हमारे पास रहता है, irrespective of जो न्यूज़पेपर में उस पे ऐड हो रहा है, उसके अलावा जो चीज़ें स्टैटिक है, कभी चेंज नहीं होती. Those things, उससे ही अधिकतर you will get almost 60-70% coverage of prelims. तो focus आपका जो है static पे ज़्यादा होना चाहिए prelims के लिए. But still it is very important to read newspapers every day. मेरा personally ये मानना है कि खुद से newspaper पढ़ने से एक तो आपकी vocabulary भी strong होगी, opinions भी बनेंगे और mains के लिए so current affairs की strategy will be different from prelims and mains. So if you talk about mains, तो when we make notes of mains, तो वहाँ पे you have to be very analytical. आप जो भी चीजें पढ़ रहे हैं उसको लेके, तो वहाँ पे सर opinions जो है authors की वो काफी important हो जाती हैं. और न्यूज़पेपर में बहुत सारी चीजें, सपोज इफ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट सपोज लेफ्ट विंग एक्सट्रीमिज्म, तो वहाँ पे हमें पता चल रहा है कि अभी जो है वी आर ट्राइंग टू एंड इट बाय मार्च 2026 और काफी बस्तर एरिया में काफी डेवलपमेंट्स हो रही हैं. तो एंड व्हेन यू विल रीड मेंस, तो वहाँ पे सिलेबस ही में ही जो है LWE इज वेरी स्पेसिफिकली मेंशन्ड. तो जब भी आप न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ें एंड इफ यू रिमेंबर द सिलेबस,
so I think we have a copy of the syllabus out. We can see. We were doing this. We go to page number 37, 35.
So this is extremism.
Yeah.
Linkages between development and extremism, and you will get a lot of articles on this in recent times. So whenever you are reading anything across social media platforms, कोई भी आपको current की चीजें मिलती हैं, just link it with the syllabus. तो जहाँ भी आप notes बना रहे हैं, वहाँ पे इस theme के अंदर जो भी आपके notes हैं, you can directly take the current affairs and put it there. So इससे आपको पता चलेगा कि क्या नहीं पढ़ना है और क्या पढ़ना है. तो पेपर में बहुत सारी चीजें होंगी. जब भी आपको लगे कि नहीं, इसको तो मैं किसी उसमें डाल ही नहीं पा रहा, तो जस्ट लीव इट, उसकी जरूरत नहीं. तो करंट अफेयर्स में सिलेबस का लिंकेजेस मेंस के लिए बहुत जरूरी है. प्रीलिम्स के लिए आई वुड से जस्ट कि आप सिक्योर फील करें, जस्ट टेक अप एनी मैगजीन और जस्ट रिवाइज इट 2-3 टाइम्स, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी इनफ. तो दैट इज द 2 थिंग्स आई हैव फॉलोड. करंट अफेयर्स के लिए एक मैगजीन, उसके 2-3 रिवीजन, एंड मेंस के लिए वेरी एक्टिवली रीडिंग एनीथिंग अक्रॉस newspaper, social media, anything, and just trying to put it in a specific syllabus bracket.
Yes, that is right. So to sum up, overall prelims ke liye it is more about revision. Mains ke liye we're actively searching for examples that we can use and then obviously putting them in our notes. Right. So Chaitanya is asking, I'm a working professional and I want to give a little more focus on ethics and essay. What should be my approach for everyday practice?
ऐसे के लिए आई वुड से कि सर का वीडियो काफी बढ़िया है. सर जो है ही इज वेरी कॉम्पिटेंट इन ऐसे.
Right. Thank you.
ऐसे में आई थिंक द मोर सिंपलर यू ट्राई टू मेक इट, आई थिंक द बेटर इट वुड बी. व्हाट मैटर्स इज द फ्लो between paragraphs. The ideas are important, and sometimes examples are also important, but the idea is to keep it extremely simple, कि काफी आसान भाषा में if you are able to convey your thoughts. And what I used to write, मेरे उतने ज़्यादा मार्क्स है नहीं ऐसे में, but I still would say कि क्या हमने करना चाहिए, and that is कि you should practice every week if you are able to write essays, एक दो essay, and get it evaluated by someone competent.
I think essays के लिए particularly you can also get them evaluated by AI tools.
Yes,
Essay is one area which like obviously they'll do wonderfully well in.
Yes sir. So I think practice ऐसे में काफी जरूरी है, और evaluate करना उसको बहुत जरूरी है, और ideas को simple रखना बहुत जरूरी है. और जहाँ तक ethics की बात है, तो ethics में I think यहाँ पे भी honesty काफी important होती है. जैसे काफी जगह पे keywords वगैरह का इस्तेमाल काफी promote किया जाता है, that you try to write keywords as well, but as long as it is very seamlessly embedded और काफी natural हो, so I think that would be better rather than brute forcing a keyword. तो उससे बेहतर है कि आप सीमलेस रखें, नेचुरल रखें अपने आंसर्स को. एंड एग्जांपल्स आई वुड से एथिक्स में काफी इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाते हैं. और एग्जांपल के लिए अगेन आई वुड से जैसा कि व्हाटएवर यू आर रीडिंग अक्रॉस प्लेटफॉर्म्स, जस्ट पिक इट. आपको कोई भी सिविल सर्वेंट की कुछ बढ़िया आपको काम नजर आया तो उसको आप तुरंत अपने नोट्स में डाल लो. आपको कहीं आपको अगर कोई कंस्ट्रक्शन का जो एक न्यूज आया था, 90 डिग्री बेंड बना था,
आई थिंक पुणे में है ना, somewhere in Maharashtra is what I remember.
हाँ, तो वहाँ पे तो वो एक इशू था. Now you can take that example and just you can आपको पता चला कि उससे सीधे सीधे केस स्टडीज भी आ सकती हैं. तो आई थिंक एक्टिवली एथिक्स में भी यही होता है, और उसमें थ्योरीज भी हैं जो हम कोर्स में पढ़ते हैं. तो स्टैटिक भी पार्ट है एथिक्स का, तो यू टेक अप एनी कोर्स, वहाँ पे आप स्टैटिक पार्ट सीख जाओगे. बट उसके अलावा जो वैल्यू एडिशन है दैट विल हैपन इफ यू आर वेरी एक्टिव, अपने सराउंडिंग को लेकर आप एक्टिव रहें तो.
राइट. So Abhishek, there is a question कि how did you handle your mind and consistency?
Consistency, okay. So I am very believer. मैं आपको एक
please. I'll just write down that the question right now is on consistency.
Yes. So consistency को लेके एक I think रॉजर फेडरर जो है, उन्होंने डार्टमाउथ कॉलेज में सर एक बार बोल दिया था, एक स्पीच दी थी. तो मेरे को इतनी पसंद आई. उन्होंने क्या बोला था कि when you are playing for a point, it should be the most important thing in the world, but when it is past you, it is past you. So it not only frees you from the baggage of the past, but it allows you to focus completely on the next step. तो मेरा ये था कि every day has to be utilized, and I will only focus on that day. And जब वो दिन चला गया तो गया, and now we'll focus on the next day कि उसको कैसे यूटिलाइज किया जाए. एंड इसके साथ you have to believe कि जो प्रोसेस है वो एंड में it will reward you if you are doing the things right. हाँ, तो इवन लाइक जो आउटकम है उसको खुद से डिटैच करना, ये सब ऑब्वियसली इजियर सेड देन डन. लेकिन
practically what did you do on bad days? I'm sure you had bad days.
So I did not worry too much about bad day कि कभी मेरे अगर 2-3 घंटे की पढ़ाई हुई है, I was not bothered. हमने बाकी टाइम को यूटिलाइज किया खुद को खुश करने के लिए. हमने मूवीज देखी, स्पोर्ट्स देखा. इससे क्या हुआ कि थोड़ा हमें रिलैक्सेशन मिल गया, थोड़ा बर्नआउट रिड्यूस हो गया, एंड नेक्स्ट दिन और ज्यादा एनर्जी के साथ आई कुड सिट अगेन. सो कंसिस्टेंसी के लिए यू नीड टू फोकस ऑन एवरी डे एंड मेक एवरी डे यूजफुल.
So somebody is also asking, what was your why of joining civil services? Why did you start preparing?
I started preparing because I was not feeling the impact of what I'm doing in the society, or directly.
Just as a small interjection, Abhishek was somebody who's also working right out of college. So he worked for about 1.5 years.
Yes.
And then he started preparing.
Yes. So the private sector, of course, I respect that sector because they are indirectly contributing a lot to the country. But for me personally, I was more interested in making a direct relation or contact with people and to improve their lives. Even any small tangible improvement that would have been very much fulfilling for me. So I think it was a natural choice for me to aim for civil services, and that realization came only after I worked in the corporate sector then. So
right. So Mansi is asking, how many hours did you study in a day?
I used to study as long as my targets were completed.
So what would used to be a general target for you?
So for example, prelims, if I have to finish a subject in say 7 days, then I will read as much as I can on first day, and so my whole target was to finish it in 7 days. Now for that, whatever hour it takes every day, it
So
doesn't
let's
matter.
just
But
take-
in general, it was like 8 to 9 hours. So it is
Okay.
general.
So let's just take a subject, a particular example. Let's say you have to break down polity. So if you're doing polity in 7 days, so how are you, like you studied by Lakshmikant?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So polity, what I did is I divided the subject, so the topics in polity into two. There was one P0 and P1. So
what is P0, P1?
P0 is priority 0, and these are the most important things. For example, parliament, the executives, the
fundamental rights, DPSP.
fundamental right, DPSP, constitutional bodies, and everything else was P1. So for P0, I used to devote the majority of the time. So almost for the week, 5 days or 4 days, I would do this. And then I do. So if I am able to revise, suppose if I have given 5 days to this and I was able to revise it in 2 days, then for the rest 3 days, I will revise it again because it is so important.
Yeah. How do you identify P0?
PYQs.
Absolutely.
The repetition of PYQs. So, and anyways, these are very, when you read it, you realize how important these topics are. Of course, parliament, fundamental right.
The first time when you're reading, so that's the problem with polity and all subjects. The first time when you're reading, everything seems important.
Yes, that is true.
But like second time, third time around, which is why also when I was talking about the phases, I told you don't worry about note making in the first phase. Don't worry about
exactly.
You know, I have to do this, that, answer writing, nothing. For 3 months, just focus on understanding. So that by the time we look at previous year questions, this starts making sense to you. Okay, there are some areas which are much more important than the others. Is there any advice for working candidates?
I actually am not very suited for that. When I was working, I was passively reading, but then I realized that it will, for me, it would not be possible to do both things and do justice to both things. So I left my job and then I was serious in my preparation.
Right. So there is another question. How many subjects would you recommend that people should do in one day?
I used to do 1 or 2, not more than that. So
why? Because
I think I would be very relieved if I was done with a subject very quickly. So doing a little bit of every subject would take me a long time to finish every subject.
Correct.
So if I was done with polity in a week, I'd be very happy that this part is done now, so I can move on to the next one. And if I'm getting bored with polity, then I will probably take IR or mapping and just do a little more fun stuff. It will be less draining, but yeah. So
which subjects did you find the most fun in your journey?
IR, mapping, globe-trotting, and playing GeoGuessr. So these things.
Yes, GeoGuessr is, I think, for those of you that don't know, GeoGuessr is a game where you look at an image and then you have to figure out where you are in the world.
Yes. So, sir, I even used to record my own GeoGuessr playing screen recording and then upload it on YouTube. So
that is absolutely fun. There is a question from Komal, which is, how do you retain things?
Okay, so one of the ways to recall or retain things is to do active recall, but I think that has been very difficult for me because again, active recall is a fight with your own.
But what is exactly active recall?
Active recall is trying to, whenever you're reading something, once you're done reading it, you are trying to recall what you read. And it is a very difficult process because you'll constantly question yourself that did I even read also? I'm forgetting everything. So that is one very good way to recall, to retain, is to active recall. And another was to take tests. So for prelims, taking tests meant that you were facing questions and now you have to recall. So there is no choice now. True. So I gave many mock tests and for that I had to recall, and that helped in retaining. So I'll give you a brief about the memory processes in this. Let's say that this is your brain. So there are two things that are happening. There is encoding and there is retrieval. Encoding is when we're putting in information into the brain. So what we tend to do is we focus a lot on this. We're just putting in a lot of information. So like the brain tends to also overflow. When you're just putting in information and you're not trying this, so then the problem comes
I just forget what I've learned because 6 months tak, if I've not practiced, then it's gone.
Yes, sir.
Retrieval, on the other hand, once you start doing this, what we start doing is we are developing pathways in our brain. Okay, if I forget something, if I'm trying to remember, what will I do? Okay, what was I doing when I was doing that? Right? Kabhi kabhar, you might have had that situation where you've gone into a room and you've forgotten why you were here.
Yes, sir.
Hota hai na? So then what do you do then?
You backtrack, I think.
You backtrack. You try and see, okay, what was I doing before that? What was my chain of thought?
Yes.
As soon as you start doing that, you are developing a neural pathway around it. So retrieval practice is exactly that.
Yes.
The more you practice figuring out, okay, if I can't remember exactly what is Article 44, I said, do I remember 43 or what do I remember? Where did I read it? That process is what is important.
Yes. I think
Right.
it is very rewarding. Rewarding in the sense that you feel good. It's like waking up in the morning and going to gym. It is very difficult, but
Yeah.
once you are done with the gym, you'll feel like
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Rahul is asking, what was your sleep schedule? How many hours did you sleep?
I used to sleep well enough every day, but on initial days, I used to sleep quite late, like at 1 or 2 p.m. and waking up at 9, 10.
PM, AM.
Sorry, yes, AM. But when the exams came closer, then I had to switch to a better routine, like waking up at 7 and sleeping at 12.
Why is that?
I thought I had to make my mind adjust to the actual exam surrounding.
Yes.
So it was much closer. So like last 1 month or 15 days, I changed my schedule. But in general, night owl.
I think that's the thing. Ki no matter whether you're a night owl or early bird, as the exam draws closer, you have to get with the exam. Exam is going to happen at 9 a.m. If you are sleeping at 9 a.m., so you know what it is.
Yes, sir.
Right. Then there is a question on how to approach CSAT.
CSAT, I think, has been a problem for many people. I think the trick is to identify the easier questions, I think. And because there will be easy questions in the mix, and you identify that, you first solve those, and PYQ practice has to be done before the exam. And the questions that are recurring, but they're not easy, but they're recurring, then those questions you learn how to solve and you practice it. So find the easy ones you can solve and learn how to solve the difficult ones. That should do the trick, I think.
Right. So there is a very interesting question ki how and where did you use AI tools during your preparation? The question is now on.
Okay. So AI for prelims, I think I did not use much AI because there was already a lot on the plate. I did not need any more information. But for mains, it became very like a constant part of the note making process.
Okay.
So for example, if I'm making note on any subject, suppose if I'm making note on SHG, then you need a good definition of SHG. Now, how do you find a good definition? You just ask AI that give me 2-3 good definitions from learned people or political learned people or authentic sources.
Authentic sources like WHO or like wherever.
So that they will give you. So you get a definition, and then for examples, obviously AI, it will give you plenty of examples. You just pick those your top 3-4 favorite. You take it in the notes. Then
how did you cross verify those examples? Is this true? Yeah, is the ChatGPT making it up?
So now ChatGPT it posts the link also of the source, and when you click on the link, if you think that link is coming from a very authentic source or PIB source or any international website. So I think, but yeah, you must fact check now.
Fact check, obviously. Then what else?
Also, for AI, sometimes also I have asked to give me more points on mains answer. For example, if there are some difficult questions that you cannot generate point on himself, or you can ask AI also to give you a framing of how to look for points. So it will give you a way. Then in prelims, I used to use AI in economics questions a lot because in economics there are a lot of questions on if US changes interest rates, then what will happen to this bond yield, increase, decrease.
Yes.
So there are a lot of whys involved in that. So I used to constantly bombard why this has happened. Should this not be the way it happens? So then AI becomes very conversational and tells you the logic behind it. So whenever you have a doubt, you ask AI.
And so then the next couple of questions is when should we start preparing for optional?
If you are not giving this year prelims, then right now you start as soon as possible because you must be ready. with your optional by December. And because optional is very important, because if it is scoring, then you will score good marks in mains. So pick an optional as soon as you can. Pick a subject that interests you, and then start working on it and finish it by December. So I think if you are not
What do you
giving
mean
prelims
when you
right
say
now,
finish it?
finish it means to have all the notes on all the themes, PYQs, and do PYQs very diligently for optional. PYQs for optional become even more important compared to mains or prelims. I mean, for the other main subjects and prelims.
Right, because I think there are a lot of optionals in which almost 60%, 70% of questions as is repeated from previous year questions. Should we watch Sansad TV discussions?
Only if you're bored.
So what would you prefer? Full length tests or sectional tests? What is the difference between these two?
Yeah, when you are starting, when you are revising a subject, for example, if I am revising polity and I have given 7 days to me, then at the end of the 7 day, I will do a sectional, just so I know that I have read the subject well. And whenever once I'm done with all the subjects, then I will start giving FLTs. But the most important thing in both cases, you must note down the mistakes that you are making in static portion of those tests, and make a separate journal for the mistakes if you can, and focus on those mistakes, because if you are making mistakes in easy questions, then the exam is not going to forgive you, because it's very brutal.
Absolutely. I was saying that in this exam, the harder part is that you're competing with the best in the country.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, if you're making easy mistakes, so then you're out of the race.
Yes.
Hard paper में आप difficulty करते हो, तो then other problems. How did you deal with laziness and procrastination?
I was a believer in the fact that if I am not going to work, then I'm never going to clear it, because I'm not lucky in that sense. That even if God is watching and he's like, he is not reading, so there is no chance that you should be selected ever. That was my belief. So, and also to keep a track, you need to have a friend, and if you have a friend with whom you are mutually accountable, then I think procrastination reduces a lot. So I was never procrastinating. I was too much a believer in the process, I think.
Right. So I think, for example, I have a calendar right here on my wall, and I put X's on the calendars on which I've done the work that was assigned to me. On some days, I will miss.
Yes, sir.
Right. But at the same time, just putting an X when I've done the work, and then you are seeing it every day. So then, therefore, there is also the incentive. No, I have to push. I have to do more. I have to do better. So that is one way that you can deal with this. Right. How did you balance optional and GS?
Yeah, I think a very important question. Both are equally important, but in the initial days of your mains preparation or note making, like in the period between July, August till December, initially you should focus more on optional. Try to give 60% of your time of your day on optional. But as soon as you are not going to transition to prelims preparation, you can increase GS weightage and reduce the optional. So initially you should give more time to optional. Complete the whole optional thoroughly. It is going to be very rewarding.
So this is an interesting question. Did you limit your social life and friends while you were preparing? Did you go underground?
Not at all. I think since I was preparing from home, so my friends were always connected to me through social media or everywhere. So I even used to, whenever I used to take a break, I used to make a visit to my friends, have fun for few days, and then come back and start reading again. So I think you should, whenever you are burnt out, you should try to find ways to relax. And if friends are the way to relax, then it's very good. I think you should never let a friends go.
Right. So Rahul is asking an interesting question. How do you use YouTube or Telegram or other social media? Because there are a lot of distractions also. So how do you make the best use of them?
Yes. So for social media, I would say, as I have said before, you actively read things on social media, and whatever you find useful, you add to your notes. So just find a way to make social media your ally, and that is going to help you. And Second, YouTube I think is very important. I think you should not be ditching YouTube. There is a lot to learn from YouTube. Whenever there are a lot of good channels, they explain. For example, there is this channel called Kurs Gesagt, I think.
Kurs Gesagt.
Yes. So they explain the medical things so brilliantly that I used to enjoy those videos a lot.
And those are nice videos also. Very
Yes,
good visual
yes,
explainers.
Exactly, sir. Very detailed explanation on.
I'll just write the name for those that don't know.
It's very difficult. It's better that you write.
Kurs Gesagt.
Yes.
I think this is it. It might be slightly different, but somewhere around that. Kurs Gesagt is the German word for in a nutshell.
In a nutshell,
That is the name of the channel.
They explain things very brilliantly. And if you are struggling with maybe science and tech concepts, for example, how the antibodies work or all the immune things, immunity, and they have explained in great detail those videos. There's also videos on black holes and universe, a lot of videos. So
if you're generally just curious about something, so this is a great channel to follow.
Yes, sir.
And somebody is asking, the name of the geography wala game was
GeoGuessr. Yes, GeoGuessr is very fun, and maybe since you know that prelims ke question, they can come from anywhere. So if they come from GeoGuessr, just thank me.
Okay, if someone is preparing full time, is 1 year preparation a realistic goal to aim if we are beginning from absolute basics? Is it possible that
1 year
in 1 year you can do the whole preparation? And
I think it is possible, but the whole process itself is longer than 1 year. So you'll not be done with the process, but you should not be too fixated on the time or the outcome, because it will take time. It is since you'll be beginning from absolute basic, so it is more important for you to learn the game, however time it takes. So don't take 1 year as your goal. Ki I have to do this in 1 year. Just make sure that you are reading whatever you're reading or understanding it, and it is more aligned towards the demand of the exam. So don't make that a goal. The 1 year should not be a goal. Your goal should be to understand the game. But
how many hours should we allocate each day for the next 2 years if we're preparing? This is
so in terms of hours, I think 8 to 9 hours is generally sufficient enough. But when the exams draw closer, you just increase it. But it's a very personal thing. Just calibrate yourself. I mean, calibrate for yourself. If you think it takes more time, give more time.
Right. So this is, I think, actually a very good piece of advice, that if, let's say, you're preparing for polity, geography, economy, whatever, but if you have to work on English also, so naturally I need to spend time there, right? English will need work, because then that will help me understand all of these subjects better. So it depends a lot on you. Absolute basics can mean very different things for very many different people. I would also recommend that, the person who asked this, you can join a mentor call, and then you can also break down in particular detail, because right over here we got a very brief question. So it's possible in 1 year, but again, if let's say English is also a problem for you, and then writing is also a problem for you, so it might take slightly longer, right? And then I think Abhishek put it really well, in which don't get fixated on, no, I have to do it in first attempt. Focus on the process, focus on improvement, and sooner or later it will start working your way. If it doesn't, if 2 or 3 attempts have gone by, you've not made any progress, so that is also a good time to consider, should I get out of this race? Don't be stuck on ki nahi bas yahin pe jeena marna hai.